The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 23, text number 12, given by His Grace, Sriman Sankarshan Das Adhikari, recorded on September 4th, 2011, in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitreya Uvacha Priyaya Priyam Anvichchan Kardama Yogam Astita Vimanam Kamagam Chata Tarhi Eva Avarachikarat Maitreya Uvacha Priyaya Priyamanvichchan Kardamo Yogamastita Vimanam Kamagam Chatas Taryeva Vicharika Taryeva Vichar Taryeva Virachikarat Charyeva Virachikarat Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya, Uvacha said, Priyaya, of his beloved wife, Priyam, the pleasure, Anvichchan, seeking, Kardama, the sage Kardama, Yogam, yogic power, Astita, exercised, Vimanam, an airplane, Kamagam, moving at will, Chata, O Vidura, Tarhi, instantly, Eva, quite, Avirachikarat, he produced. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Maitreya continued, O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kardama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at his will. Purport. Here the words Yogam Ashtita are significant. The sage Kardama was completely perfect in yoga. As a result of real yoga practice, there are 8 kinds of perfection. The yogi can become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, or lighter than the lightest. He can achieve anything he likes. He can create even a planet. He can establish influence over anyone, etc. In this way, yogic perfection is achieved, and after this one can achieve the perfection of spiritual life. Thus it was not very wonderful for Kardama Muni to create a mansion in the air according to his own desire, to fulfill the desire of his beloved wife. He at once created the palace which is described in the following verses. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapatakamulam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raganatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. So just see how powerful are these yogis. They can create anything imaginable or unimaginable. But even higher still is to become perfect in spiritual life. Because actually this yoga system, it is simply technology, that's all. A yogi means he's an advanced technologist. It is another type of technology, that's all. It's like the modern day scientists, they can make airplanes, they can make helicopters. They can do so many things with their technology. But the yogis are also technologists. They're simply more advanced technologists, that's all. That's why the bhaktas are not interested in developing these yogic powers. It's a diversion from the path of bhakti. Prabhupada wrote me like that one time. He said, to become a qualified preacher, no desire, no karma, no jnana, no yoga, all material desires finished. Of course, if one has those powers, as Kardama Muni had, he can use them in Krishna's service. This is our philosophy. Whatever you have, you can use it for Krishna. Whatever talent you have. Anataktasya vishayan yatarpam abhayunjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchate prapanchakitaya bhujya hari sambandhi vastanaha mumukshu bhi puritjago vairagyam paugyu katyate. A person who is not attached to anything but accepts everything in relation to Krishna is properly situated beyond possessiveness. On the other hand, a person who rejects everything, not seeing its relationship with Krishna, he is called Palgu Vairagi. He is imperfect in his renunciation. There was one boy, he knew how to play the guitar. One devotee. But he was thinking, I would like to learn how to play the sitar. So he wrote Prabhupada about this desire of his to play the sitar. Prabhupada said, you already know how to play the guitar. You just play the guitar for Krishna. There's no need to take some new thing. You take what you already know and use that for Krishna. So, Kardama Muni already had these yogic powers, you see. Okay, you can use them for Krishna. By his utilization of his talents in Krishna's service, he produced the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son. So we never say you don't use your talents for Krishna. If you're a poet, write poetry for Krishna. If you're a dancer, dance for Krishna. If you're a businessman, make a lot of money for Krishna. If you're a scholar, become highly learned in the Vedic wisdom. If you know how to cook nicely, then cook nicely for Krishna. If you're interested in philosophy, then you study this, you become a master of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. If you like to talk to people and make friends, then go out and make friends with everybody in the whole world and make them all into devotees. Whatever your talent is, use it for Krishna. That is proper renunciation. This shloka of Rupa Goswami, given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is a very interesting shloka. This term Palgu Vairagya is very interesting. In India, there's a river called Palgu River. And if you go to see the Palgu River, you won't see anything but a sandy bank. There's just the sand there. You won't see the river. But if you dig down into the sand, you will find the river is underground. So the Palgu Vairagi, the artificial renunciate, he makes a big show of being very renounced. But if you dig into his heart, you will see it is full of lusty desires. That is the Palgu Vairagi, you see. He makes a big show of being renounced, but actually he's a lusty fellow, lusty guy. So, we don't want to be Palgu Vairagis. We want to become actual bhaktas. Anyabhilashita shunyam gyanakarma dhanavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. One should be completely free from all material desires. Free from the tendencies towards mental speculation and fruitive activities. One should engage favorably in the service for Lord Sri Krishna without any material desires. That is called pure devotional service. So this is what we are trying to learn how to become, is pure devotees. It doesn't matter if you're a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. Our mission is to train all of our members how to become pure devotees. Because when you become a pure devotee, then Krishna becomes your property. We should become very eager for this pure bhakti. Very eager. As confirmed in the Padyavali, text 14. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati kriyatang yadi kutopi labhyate tattalayang api muyamekalam janmakoti sukritare na labhyate. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by executing pious activities for hundreds and thousands and millions of years. It can be achieved by paying only one price. And that is the intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. So this is how to get Krishna Prem, Krishna Bhakti. Intense greed, tatra la yam. You must become very greedy. That I want nothing in this material world. I don't want name, fame, profit, adoration, or distinction. There's only one thing I desire, and that's pure devotional service. You make that desire very intense within your heart. And then you look for that place, where can I obtain this pure bhakti? And then when you find that place, you should run there and purchase it with the price of your greediness. Actually, that place, it is started by Lord Nityananda, that place. It is called Namhat. What is that verse? What is that verse? What is that song? Bolo sukker kabor gai, Bolo sukker kabor gai, Bolo sukker kabor gai, Bolo sukker kabor gai. Surabhi kunjete namerhat, kuleche, Surabhi kunjete namerhat, kuleche, kodanitai, kodanitai. In this way, there's that wonderful place called that wonderful market. It's a chain, actually. It's a marketing chain. The original branch was open on the bank of the Jalangi River there in Mayapur. Now if you go to that place, it is somebody's backyard. That place for Lord Nityananda, it's just down the street from Bhaktivinoda's house. So it's somebody's backyard, but in India it's very mellow. You can go into somebody's yard, they don't mind. So I went there and I just rolled and rolled around in the grass. Take all that dust, just rolled and rolled and rolled in the grass of Surabhi Kunj. I wanted to absorb that mercy of Lord Nityananda, you see. That marketplace, the holy name, Namaha. So that marketplace is now manifested as ISKCON all over the world. So this is the place. If you want that Krishna Bhakti, then you go to that Namahat movement, you go to ISKCON, and there you can get that Krishna Prem. But you must come with money in your hand. And that money is your intense greed. This is lalyam currency. You cannot come empty-handed. You must be loaded with cash. And that cash is lalyam, intense greediness to purchase pure bhakti. So if you will come to that marketplace with sufficient money in hand, sufficient greed for bhakti, then Lord Nityananda, he will very kindly give you that bhakti. So in this way we have to take full advantage of this process. Not become diverted by any material nature allurements. That I want Krishna and nothing but Krishna. Us.
Кришна и нищо друго освен Кришна. Край.
Finished. So now I can ask if there's any question.
Има ли въпроси?
Трябва ли да убиваме комарите?
Should we kill mosquitoes? Should we kill the mosquitoes?
If a mosquito is attacking you, he is an aggressor. He's coming to steal your blood. So such a mosquito you can kill.
Комар, който те атакува, е агресор, защото той иска да кране кръвта ти и такъв агресор може да бъде убит.
Yeah.
Човек, кой е най-лесният начин човек да развие това силно желание? Тази алчност.
What is the easiest way to develop this greed, intense greed?
How do you become greedy for pure bhakti?
Как да
Well, the easiest way is to associate with people who are greedy for pure bhakti.
Най-лесният начин е като общуваш с хора, които са алчни за чистата бхакти.
Just like if you associate with people who are greedy for illicit sex, by their association you become greedy for illicit sex.
Както ако общуваш с хора, които са много алчни за забранен секс, тогава ти самия ще станеш такъв.
If you associate with people who are greedy for bhakti, by their association you become greedy for bhakti.
Ако общуваш с хора, които са алчни за бхакти, ти самия ще станеш такъв.
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sangat sanjaya ki kama. One's consciousness is developed according to one's sangha or one's association. So you take the association of those who have that greed for Krishna bhakti.
Кришна казва в Гита, че качеството на човек се развива в съответствие с неговото общуване, така че трябва да получим общуване на тези, които са алчни за бхакти.
In this way you become very, very greedy for Krishna bhakti.
И по този начин ти ще станеш много, много алчен за Кришна бхакти.
Any other question? Yeah.
Преди посвещението, ако има домашна мурти, как да се грижим по най-добрия начин?
Before initiation, if we have deities at home, how we should take care of them?
You have Gaurnitai?
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra.
You should offer them arti every day and offer them all of your foodstuffs.
Трябва да правиш арати всеки ден и да им предлагаш Бога.
No one should get Radha Krishna deities at home unless they're authorized by their spiritual master. That's one thing.
Никой не трябва да има Рада Кришна божества вкъщи, освен ако не е изрично авторизиран от своя гуру.
But Jagannath is very merciful and lenient. Also, Gaurnitai are very merciful and lenient. So they can be accepted. Especially Gaurnitai can be accepted. They're the most lenient.
Но Gaurnitai и Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi, те са много милостиви и те могат да бъдат обожавани, особено Gaurnitai.
But you should not eat anything at home unless you've offered to your deities. Nothing. You should not eat anything unless it's offered to your deities.
Не трябва да приемаш никаква храна, която не е предложена първо на твоите божества.
Otherwise you're treating them like dolls and not like God.
Иначе ти се държиш с тях като с кукли, а не както с Кришна.
Any other questions? Yes.
Вчера Санкаршан предположи на лекцията беше казал, че трябва да ангажираме негативите си и негативите си в Кришна съзнание. Не съм сигурна дали точно така беше и това искам да попитам дали правилно съм разбрала и какво означава това.
Yesterday you mentioned that we should engage our negative side also in Krishna consciousness, and she's not sure if she understood correctly. What is the meaning of this?
Yeah, it means to renounce, to give up the association of worldly people within your heart. Of course, for you that's a little difficult because you're living with worldly people.
Това означава да се отречем от общуването с светски личности. Разбира се, за теб това може да е трудно, защото ти си заобиколена с такива хора.
It's natural to be attached to your family members.
Естествено е да си привързана към членовете на твоето семейство.
But you have to cultivate attachment from them.
Но трябва да култивираш непривързаност към тях.
not that you give up your loving relationship with them,
Това не означава, че трябва да изоставиш твоите любовни отношения с тях.
but they're no longer your authorities.
Но те не са вече твоите авторитети.
You respect them.
Ти трябва да ги уважаваш.
A child is meant to respect her parents. That is dharma.
Детето трябва да уважава своите родители. Това е дарма.
But you have to have more respect for Guru and Vaishnavas.
Но трябва да имаш повече уважение към гуру и вайшнавите.
Because now Guru is your authority and Vaishnavas, they are your authority, not your family members.
Защото сега гуру и вайшнавите те са твоите авторитети, а не твоите родители.
So for you, negativity means to negate their authority over you.
За теб негативност означава да отхвърлиш техния авторитет върху теб.
You respect them, you love them, they are no longer your authorities.
Ти ги уважаваш и ги обичаш, но те вече не са твоите авторитети.
Now, Guru and Krishna, they are your authorities.
Авторитетите са Гуру и Кришна вече.
Is that clear? Any other questions? Yeah.
Понеже сме етап на пречистването, как може да се пречистим така, че да не замърсяваме другите около нас?
Since we are at the stage of purifying ourselves, how we should purify ourselves so that we don't contaminate others around us?
Well, if you just make yourself, you don't want to be contaminated. If you make yourself pure, then automatically your effect on others is covered.
Ако човек се пречисти, автоматично ефект той не може да замърси другите.
Because, for example, the Prabhupada says, "Physician, heal thyself."
Например, Прабхупад казва, лекарят се лекува сам.
The doctor, to do his service, he must be healthy.
За да може лекарят да лекува другите, самият той трябва да е здрав.
So, to not contaminate others, you simply have to be pure. That means chant 16 rounds and follow the four regular principles.
За да не замърсяваш другите, ти трябва да бъдеш чист. Това означава, трябва да мантруваш 16 кръга.
So you're doing that? You're chanting 16 rounds regularly? Following the four regular principles? So you're pure? And you will purify others by your association. Now you have to become more pure. Because, it's a gradual process.
Сега трябва да станеш по-чист, защото това е постепенен процес.
But you're already accepted as pure by dint of following these principles, and anyone who has your association, they will become purified by your association.
Но тъй като вече ти следваш тези принципи, така се приема за чиста и всеки, който общува с теб, също ще бъде пречистен.
Any other question?
Какво ще кажете за тези фините замърсявания, които са постоянно излизащи на яве?
What about these subtle contaminations that they are continuously coming up on the surface?
That is natural.
Това е естествено.
You have to be patient.
Трябва да си търпелива.
It will take some time to get rid of them.
Ще отнеме известно време да се освободиш от тях.
You can't expect to have an immediate recovery after millions of lifetimes of contamination.
Не можеш да очакваш да се изчистиш незабавно след милиони животи.
You have to patiently follow the Guru's orders.
Трябва търпеливо да следваш инструкциите на
In this way, you will gradually become completely cleansed of all the dirt in your heart.
И по този начин постепенно ще станеш напълно чиста от тези материални.
Sarvapadiva nirmuktam tatparit venam nirmalam rishikesha rishikena sevanam bhaktir uchate. Free yourself from all material designations of I'm a woman, I'm a Bulgarian, etc. Become completely free of all material designations within your consciousness and become completely cleansed of all the dirt of material existence, your lust, your anger, your greed, your madness, your illusion, your envy. Become cleansed of all this dirt by chanting Hare Krishna with love. Engage your senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesha. And then when you do this, then you are properly engaged in Krishna consciousness and you will quickly become a pure devotee.
ако се ангажираш в служене на господаря на сетивата, което е Ришикеша, постепенно ще се пречистиш всички замърсявания и...
Any other question?
Да.
И исках само да кажа, че се сетих за тази другата песен за Надия Годрова. Също. Много хубава песен. Същата връзка за намаха.
Но това можеш на английски да кажеш. You just thought about another song. It's also very...
About what?
Another song about the Namhat, Nadia Godrume, Nityananda, Mahajan.
Yeah.
He just thought that it's also very appropriate for this...
What's appropriate?
appropriate for this market of the holy name.
Yeah. Namahat. Appropriate?
Yeah, just because we were speaking about these songs, Rabbi Kunj.
You were speaking about it this morning? I was speaking about it. Yeah?
And I remember that there is one, another song also in this regard. Nadia Godrome Nityananda Mahajan.
Oh, another is Bhajan? And Narada Muni just told me about one shloka also from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Preme, what is it? Preme Matta Nityananda Kripa Avatar. Very nice. The Lord Chaitanya is mad, is intoxicated. I mean, Lord Nityananda is intoxicated with love of God, and he makes no distinction of Uttama, Adhama. He equally gives mercy to everybody without any consideration of who's good and who's bad. He's just this Lord Nityananda is the epitome of mercy. It's very nice. Worshipping Gaura-Nitai is a very, very nice thing. Lord Nityananda, actually, he gives us access to Lord Chaitanya because we are Jagai Madai caliber. Lord Chaitanya was going to kill Jagai Madai, you see. Because of Lord Nityananda, they were spared. So because we are Jagai Madai caliber, just see how much we're indebted to Lord Nityananda. Otherwise, Lord Chaitanya may kill us for all of our sinful activities, you see, in anger. They were doing so many sinful activities. But because of Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya has cooled down. That's a lila, the Jagai Madai lila. So we're all of that caliber, Jagai Madai. Actually, those two fellows, because of Lord Nityananda's mercy, they become great celebrated Vaishnavas. Narottam Das Thakur sings the holy names of Jagai and Madai, even though they were the most rascal demons. He sings their names in his bhajan. Their names are glorified, you see. Now we sing those holy names, Jagai and Madai. They become holy names, you see, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So in this way, even the most rascal Jagai Madai characters, they can become great, enlightened devotees of the Lord by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So if any devotee is having difficulty, they should always pray to Lord Nityananda. And Narottam gives very nice, Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Koro Ami Vado Dukhi. My dear Lord Nityananda, I see that you're always unlimitedly happy, swimming in an ocean of transcendental bliss. But my dear Lord, I'm the most miserable, unhappy rascal, so miserable and depressed and unhappy person. So my dear Lord Nityananda, please kindly cast your glance of mercy upon me so that I can also become ecstatic. It's a nice prayer. If you ever get depressed, this is a great prayer. If you ever feel depressed, you just say, Lord Nityananda, please show me some mercy. Help me become blissful in Krishna consciousness. And he's very kind. Lord Nityananda is very, very kind. He will immediately reciprocate with your prayer. He's very kind. Devotee never has to feel unhappy or morose because Lord Nityananda immediately will banish, yes, take this transcendental bliss. We just have to be humble and beg Lord Nityananda His mercy, and we'll always be ecstatic. We'll never be morose or depressed. Just beg Lord Nityananda His mercy. That's all we have to do. I don't know why devotees fall down and get depressed and discouraged. It means they're puffed up. They're too proud to beg humbly beg Lord Nityananda's mercy. They're too damn puffed up. That's why they fall down. But if one is humble and realizes I'm just a rascal, a Jagai Madai character, so Lord Nityananda, please save me. Please throw some mercy my way. Pull me out of this morose, sense gratifier mood. You see? There's no reason for any devotee ever fall down. You just got to beg Lord Nityananda's mercy, and then you'll be blissed out 24 hours a day. Blessed with bliss for the mercy of Nitai. Anything else? Yes.
I want to ask, because I had conversation with one devotee regarding the deity worship, if devotees who are even very busy should come sometimes to worship the deities in the temple. So, can you say something more about, in the beginning, how Srila Prabhupada started deity worship? Why Srila Prabhupada started deity?
Why deity worship was introduced?
Yes, because
yes. You heard what?
I heard in the beginning devotees, they were just doing the whole day just Harinam, and then they started just distributing books.
Yeah, there was no deity worship in the beginning. In 26 Second Avenue, they didn't have deities. Prabhupada had his little deities upstairs. He engaged, what was her name? Pradyumna's wife, Arundhati. He engaged Arundhati in worshipping his deities up in his quarters, his personal deities. But down in the temple room, there was no deity worship. In San Francisco, in the beginning there was no deity worship, but then Malati happened to see some cute little statues from India at a gift store, and she did her version was, I heard different stories, but her version was she did what we call the five-finger discount, which isn't really recommended. Five-finger discount. She stole them. She shoplifted these beautiful little deities, 3 of them, and brought them home. And there's just one, I think. And it brought to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada offers obeisances. And then he had Shyama-Sundar carve big. He was still smoking cigarettes at the time. Sometimes he put his cigarette pack on top of the Jagannath when he was in the middle of carving. If you can imagine the early days, There was a dog in the apartment, their Jagannaths being... Prabhupada tolerated everything to start this movement. So anyway, Shyama-Sundar carved the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And the first deity worship was introduced for the temple was Jagannath worship there in San Francisco. Actually, if you think about it, for those growing up in Christianity, what does Jagannath look like? An idol, right? Some heathen idol. But when Jagannath was introduced as God to the hippies in Haight-Ashbury, everyone said, "Oh, cool, man! This is really cool. This is God, all right." In Haight-Ashbury, all the hippies thought it was really cool, and they worshipped Lord Jagannath. Yeah, this is God, and everyone started offering offerings. And so in this way, it was a very simple way, Prabhupada introduced Jagannath worship. And then later on, I think it was Boston, he introduced Radha Krishna with a very high standard of worship. There has to be so many Brahmins, so many offerings, everything has to, actually, very high standards. You have to be a Brahmin to even walk in the kitchen. You have to be a Brahmin. Very high standards. So, but the deity worship is actually there. One may ask, why deity worship? Because, Haranama, Haranama, Haranama eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatya. Where do we hear Hara Rupa? We hear Harinama, the form of the Lord. We're told to worship the name. So why the Rupa or the Hararupa is being introduced, the form, because we are needing help to perfect our chanting. The deity worship is to help us to dive deeper into Nam Ras, you see. Deity worship is accepted to help us perfect our chanting. That's why we accept it in this age. Yuga Dharma was deity worship in the previous Yuga, the Dvapara Yuga. That was the Yuga Dharma. And this Yuga, it's the Nama Sankirtan. But the deity worship helps us to become pure in our chanting. For one thing, if it just, when there was no Mangal Arti, deity worship, devotees would sleep late. But if there's deity worship, you have to get up. You have to get up by 4 o'clock to come to Mangal Arti. You see? So the deity worship helps us to regulate. Oh, we can't neglect the deity is there. We have to get up for the deity, to worship the deity. So the deity worship, even householders are recommended for the same purpose. They can rise early and do the Mangal Arti in the home. You see? If they can't come to the temple, they should rise early and have Mangal Arti at home. So the deity worship is to help us to become pure chanters of the name. That's why we accept deity worship. Not for its own sake. Of course, it is Krishna. But deity worship alone will not make us perfect in this age. We require the chanting. One has to become a pure chanter of the name. Deity worship, just doing puja but no chanting, he will not become pure devotee in this age. We require the extra potency of Nama. In this age, the Nama is invested with great transcendental potency. Golokera prema dana hari nama sankirtana. The prema dhan, the great treasure of prem, is fully invested in the name, you see, which was brought by Narada Muni from Goloka Vrindavan here to this earthly planet. So we have to take that Nama. That's how we become pure. But the deity worship will help us to become perfect in our Nam chanting. Okay, our time is almost up. We can have one more question if there's any, and if not, we'll stop. All right, last question.
Аз съм чула, че ние трябва да се опитаме да приближеността на Кришна, на бхактите на Кришна, но понякога в процеса на служене могат да се появят известни неразбирателства. Как можем да се справим за това и какво да правим в случая?
We know that we should... Какво казах в началото? Знаем, че трябва да...
Трябва да приближим достъп на Кришна и Бхакти.
We know that we should attract the mercy of Krishna and the devotees, but while we serve together with other devotees, sometimes there are some misunderstandings between us, and какво трябва да...
Да, как да постъпим тази ситуация?
So when such things happen, what to do about it?
Well, misunderstanding with devotees means that's for our purification. That difficulties we have to overcome associating devotees is for our purification.
Трябва да разберем, че когато има такива проблеми с бхакти, това са трудности, които трябва да преодолеем и те са за наше пречистване.
In other words, when a conflict arises with a Vaishnava, then you have to work very hard to resolve that conflict.
Когато се появи конфликт с Вайшнава,
and sometimes it's not a very easy thing.
трябва много старателно да се опиташ да го разрешиш.
Because you have your perspective,
Защото ти имаш твоята...
and that devotee has his perspective or her perspective,
А другият преданен има неговата или нейната гледна точка.
and they don't match.
И те не съвпадат.
They clash.
Има сблъсък между тях.
So it means you have to open up your viewpoint. You have to say, okay, well, let me broaden my vision of what is Krishna consciousness.
Тогава трябва човек да разшириш твоята представа, представлява Кришна съзнание.
And hopefully that will inspire them also to broaden their vision of what is Krishna consciousness.
И това се предполага, че ще накара и другия човек, той също да разшири неговата представа.
So if you broaden your vision sufficiently and they broaden their vision sufficiently, you'll reach a point where your perspectives will become in harmony.
Ако те и другият човек разширите достатъчно своята представа за Кришна съзнание, тогава ще стигнете до момент, до точка, където вашите гледни точки ще
You have to become Brahmanan.
трябва да станеш брамана.
Brahmana means one who has very broad vision.
Брамана означава човек, който има който е широк, имаш
One who has very narrow vision, they are called fanatic.
който е много широко скорен, има широко виждане.
They are kripana, they are miserly.
Обратното е тесногръд човек, който е
So when two misers come together, there's always going to be a fight.
когато такива двама хора с тесногради разбирания, скъперници се
So don't you be a kripana miser.
когато такива двама души се съберат, винаги ще има проблеми.
You become Brahmana,
И това човек не трябва да бъде шкрипана,
a person with very broad vision.
брамана или човек с широко виждане.
How will you develop that broad vision?
Как да развиеш такова широко виждане?
By reading Prabhupada's books as much as possible.
Четеш книгите на Прабхупада колкото може повече.
Then you will develop very broad vision.
Тогава ще развиеш това виждане.
And you'll be able to live peacefully with all the devotees. Even if there's conflict, you can resolve the conflict by your example.
И тогава ще можеш да живееш спокойно с всички преданни. Дори ако има конфликт, ти ще можеш да го разрешиш.
Okay? All right then. Yes?
I wanted to let everybody know
Hmm?
we'll have Abhishek for Radharani after the Mangalarti in Tulsi Puja.
Oh, Radharani just...
Tomorrow,
That'll be
Abhishek for Radharani
after Mangalarti?
after Tulsi Puja upstairs.
All right, a special announcement. Tomorrow on Radhastami, after Tulsi worship, upstairs in our quarters there will be Abhishek for Radharani, and everyone's invited. After Tulsi worship, come on up for Radharani's Abhishek. Jai. Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Short Abhishek.